Happy day to all. This is class 10 biology, chapter 8, how do organisms reproduce, day 3. So today we are going to learn about the sexual reproduction in human beings. So in human, the sexual reproduction is only one mode of reproduction, where they attain once the human beings they attain puberty, or the other term it is adolescence. So attaining maturity, so that is the stage between the childhood. Once the childhood gets over, next comes the adulthood. So in between the time where the growth and development of an organism or men and a women take place, we call it as adolescence. The period during which the rate of general body growth, reproductive tissues start maturing, and so on. A human male reaches puberty at the age of 13 to 14 years, whereas a female reaches the same around 11 to 13 years. So, what are other the changes that takes place during the adolescent age in males as well as females? The thick hair growth under the armpit and then the genital area, the facial hair, change in voice, a hoarse voice, and then occasional the penis enlargement take place in males. Whereas in females, they start the menstruation cycle. During this time, they have the breast enlargement, hair growth under the armpit as well as the genital area. So here I have shown the human male reproductive system, the structure of human male reproductive system, which consists of testis, vas deferens, the scrotum, urethra, epididymis, penis, and some of the related glands, reproductive glands of male. They are the prostate gland, the seminal vesicle, and then the corpus gland. So a pair of testes which can be seen outside the abdominal cavity, which has been protected by a sac-like structure, we call it as the scrotum. A pair of testes, and at the base of the pair of testes arises a thick epididymis, and which moves out as a tubular structure, we call it as vas deferens, which emerges out or joins together to form near the um, urethra, and then the urethra opens out. This is how the connectivity takes place. First, we will see about the testes. They occur in pairs, and the major function of the testes is to produce sperms. They produce a male hormone, testosterone. And the scrotum, it is the covering, the extension of the body cavity containing the testes, and it is outside the body cavity because the testes are protected by the scrotum, and the testes to produce a sperm, it need to maintain a lower body temperature, or temperature lower than the body temperature need to be maintained. That is why the scrotum is outside the abdominal cavity. And next part comes starting from the testis is the epididymis. These are the complex tube-like structure in the scrotum, and here they store sperms, helps in the passage of sperms. And this epididymis continues as vas deferens outside. And this vas deferens, they are tube-like structure which emerges from the lower part of the epididymis, open to the ejaculatory. Next comes the penis, which is a muscular copulatory organ. What do you mean by copulatory organ? Copulatory organ, this is the organ which transfers the sperm into the female the genital system. So through the penis, the discharge of sperms, when it has been stimulated or activated, it happens. Uh, Next part is the urethra, which is a tube-like structure. Earlier in your life processes chapter also, you would have heard about urethra, that is the opening of the urinary bladder. It is the same passage. Urethra, it's a common passage for both sperms as well as the urine to pass out. Next, we should see what are the glands that are related towards this reproductive system. The first gland is the prostate gland. These prostate gland, they secrete milky fluid that helps in sperm mobility. Next gland is the seminal vesicles. They produce the viscous fluid which helps in sperm mobility in the female genital tract. It helps, that is the lubrication of the female genital tracts are being maintained by the secretion called the seminal vesicle that are present inside the female reproductive system. Next comes the corpus gland, which secrete a mucus to lubricate the female passage. Next, we will see how sperms are produced. So these sperms that are produced in the testes, and from the testes, produced sperm will be passed on to the epididymis, and from the epididymis towards the vas deferens, and then they will collect the secretions from the seminal vesicles and through the ejaculatory duct, and then it collects the prostate gland secretion, and through the urethra it has been sent out. So here you can see the structure of the testis, epididymis, and then the scrotum, where the sperm that are produced in the testis are stored in the epididymis. And the second part, the sperms are being sent through this coil, that is the tube-like structure called the vas deferens, towards the urethra. Next, through the urethra, it passes out through the penis. So the next picture is we can see the structure of sperm, which has got the head part, the middle part, and then the tail part. The head part, which contains a thick covering called acrosome that helps in the entry of egg, and inside the head part contains the nucleus, where the genetic material DNA is being present, and the neck part, which gets connected to the middle piece, which contains the spiral shaped mitochondria, which gives energy for the sperm to move. And then this mitochondria is being connected by a long tail. By lashing the tail, the sperm, with the help of energy released in the mitochondria, it moves forward. So this is a tiny body with a long tail, mainly composed of genetic materials. Next, we should know the female reproductive system. So it consists of a pair of ovaries, the fallopian tube, uterus, cervix, and vagina. So what are the functions we will see one by one? A pair of ovaries are present on either side of the uterus, and by birth, from the process of development of the embryo inside the womb of a mother, after the formation of the sex, this ovary starts developing. So they produce these female sex cells, that is ovum, or otherwise we can call it as ova. and also they secrete hormones, estrogen as well as progesterone that helps to maintain the pregnancy and so on. Next part is the ovary is being connected by a tubular structure called the fallopian tube. They too exist in pairs, which originates from the uterus extending up to each ovary. And this fallopian tube, they receives the ova from the ovary, and this fallopian tube is the site for fertilization. Next comes the uterus, which is a pear-shaped muscular hollow structure, and the fetal development takes place here. That is the complete development of the zygote development to that is the fetus development will take place inside this uterus. And the next part is the cervix, or otherwise we call as the mouth of the uterus, which is a narrow lower part of the uterus, which joins outside called the vagina, which is a tube-like structure. It's otherwise called as birth canal. It's a path for the baby to be released out. And in the vagina only the sperm discharge occurring take place, and also act as the birth canal. And how are the female sex cells produced? So this is the structure of ovary, where the female sex cells, ovum or the ova, are produced by the epithelium in the ovary. And the release of ovum from the ovary into the fallopian tube, we call it as ovulation. So it is the picture that shows, I don't want to go into deep, it contains millions of follicles. Follicles are small pouch-like structure where that is the egg or the ovum are being immatured egg or ovum will be present, and towards it's a cyclic process. Every month each, once the female attains puberty, every month starts the cycle of formation of maturing of ova, and this ovum will be released into the fallopian tube, and the scar shaped structure will never fall off from the ovary, but it acts as the Graafian follicle, and which releases some hormones that are responsible for the growth and development of the developing embryo. So the next process is the fertilization. So fertilization is internal, which occurs in the fallopian tube. The ovum comes from the ovary to the fallopian tube. The sperms enter through the vagina, reaches the fallopian tube, and there the fusion or fertilization takes place. And the sperm enters the egg, where the fusion of the nucleus of the sperm and then the ovum takes place. We call it as fertilization. So this picture, it shows the complete sequence of the ovulation, when from the ovary the secondary oocyte or the ova are being released in the ampulla. You can see the fertilization process taking place. Once the egg has been fertilized, it moves through the ampulla, through the isthmus, and then within 2 to 3 days time, it enters into the uterus. And this process, we call it as implantation. That is, from the zygote stage, by the time it attains the blastomere stage, it will be implanted into the uterus. And uterus has got a thick muscular covering or a coating called as endometrium, and this endometrium helps in supporting the developing embryo. So what happens if the egg is not fertilized? So every month it's a cyclic process where release of egg or ova takes place within 13 to 14 days of we call it as the menstrual cycle. Within the 13th day of the menstrual cycle, the egg will be released from the ovary into the fallopian tube. So here we know that an egg is released from either of any one ovary. Only single ova will be released every 28 days. An unfertilized egg is alive only for a day or 24 hours after the ovulation process. Ovulation, as I was telling you, it is the release of ova from the ovary into the fallopian tube, and the uterus prepares to receive the fetus. And during this time, what happens? The endometrium um, thickens, and it is the time for the fertilized ova to be received. And if the ova is not fertilized, or no fertilization has taken place and no zygote is formed, this endometrium breaks up into bits of blood, and then the hormones, as well as the liquid medium, and the bleeding starts through the vagina. We call it as a menstrual cycle. So the menstrual cycle, the process of bleeding through the vagina due to the breakage of endometrium, we call it as menstruation. And it occurs every 28 days. It is a cyclic process, and it lasts for nearly 2 to 6 days. And it occurs around 14 days post ovulation. So what do you mean by ovulation? Earlier I said within 1 or 2 days it is implanted into the uterus, and the endometrium will identify that the egg that has been implanted into the uterus are not fertilized. So as a result, what happens? Hormones that are produced for receiving the fertilized egg or the ovum will stop its activities, and then the endometrium get detached from the uterine wall. It smashes into pieces, and then it is being sent out as menstruation through the vagina. So uh, a stage where the process of ovulation stops, we call that stage as menopause. That is, the menstrual cycle in a woman continues till 45 to 55 years of age, and um, at this stage what happens? The ovary becomes dormant, and there won't be any ova or ovum to be that is matured and released. So as a result, no ovulation take place, and no menstruation will happen. And that time we call it as the. So now we have learned about the female as well as the male reproductive system, and how a new organism are being formed. Next, we should know the most important thing that we need to learn in this is about the reproductive health. So, what is reproductive health? The state of complete physical, mental, and social well being in all aspects of reproduction, and the knowledge of reproductive processes and then its organs, care of mother as well as the child, family planning, and then some knowledge about the STDs. What is STD? It is a sexually transmitted disease. How can we take care of mother and child? So proper diet, nutritious diet to the pregnant women as well as a lactating mother. Proper age difference between the children, that will enhance the health of the mother as well as the first child, and planning a baby at the right age of mother between the 20 years and 35 years, and to restrict the number of children not to add to the overpopulation, and to avoid unwanted pregnancy. To avoid unwanted pregnancy, the government itself, they have started the technique as a family planning. And why is it necessary? So family planning is necessary to limit the huge increase in population. And how can family planning be done? So there should be a proper age gap between children, minimum 3 years and above, and to control the number of children in a family to one or two, depending upon the family income, and no differentiation between the male child as well as the female child. And the parents should plan a baby at their right age. And here, these are some of the criteria for why family planning is necessary, or is necessary for us. How to avoid pregnancy? So avoiding pregnancy, in other terms, we call it as contraception. And there are different ways of contraception. It is the barrier method and oral contraceptive pills, etc. The one that we are going to learn is the condoms. They are balloon-like elastic covering that tightly fits over the penis of males. And in this collect the condoms, it collects the ejaculated sperm during the sexual relationship. Even female condoms are also available. Next, it is the oral contraceptive pills. It does not ever allow ovulation to occur, or it hardens the. So we were just talking about the seminal vesicle secretion and so on. Whenever such pills are being contraceptive pills are being taken, the sperm requires a smooth, slimy medium for the transfer of uh, sperm into the through the vagina into the uterus, and it should reach the fallopian tube. When such contraceptive pills are being consumed, there is a thickening of the semi-fluid substance present inside the uterus, which will not allow the entry of sperm into the fallopian tube. So the next method is the surgical method. The two types of surgical method, one is vasectomy, another one is tubectomy. So vasectomy is that is the removal of a small portion of vas deferens. So in the picture itself, you can see the blue colored, which arises from the epididymis. The vas deferens are cut and then tied, and the space or gap between connectivity is lost, which prevents the sperm being transferred. Next, it is the tubectomy, which is done in females, where removal of a small portion of fallopian tube and then tying it at the ampulla region towards the uterine part. They will be cut and tied. So the last part, we should know about the sexually transmitted diseases: gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, AIDS, genital as well as anal warts, and prevention of STDs using condoms. Wash before and after the sexual relationship, and confirm that a new partner is HIV tested before the sexual relationship. So we will see what is HIV or AIDS. So we know that the virus that attacks our immune system. As a result, our immune system will be affected, which leads to the death of that individual. Next, we should see what is gonorrhea. So which is caused by bacterium, Neisseria gonorrhea, and it is passed from one person to another during the sexual contact. Next, we should pass on to the what is syphilis. Syphilis is also a bacterial infection which is usually being spread by the sexual contact and it starts as a painless sore and develops in different stages with the symptoms vary with one stage after stage. Next, it is a genital and anal wart or a small growth-like structure seen on the genital areas of a male as well as female, as well as towards the anal part. And how can we prevent these sexually transmitted disease? That is using condoms, which can the direct contact between the male and female genital area can be we can prevent the transmission of such diseases. And if unprotected sex has been taken place, wash before as well as after the relationship and confirm that the partner, those who are whom you are going to have the sexual relationship should be tested HIV and should be confirmed.